Let this video be a reminder to everybody that no matter how many years go by and how a story at one point in time years ago could be perceived as dead to rights and over and done with, could always come through with an interesting update that will have a few people who at the time were very supportive of the situation that was going on being left very brokenhearted and feeling cheated and lied to because of how much they cared about the story at the time. In 2021, a story went viral about bullying where a young man who just so happens to be black went to a sleepover and was apparently shot with a BB gun and had urine in a cup that he was forced to fiddle with and almost drink by apparently a bunch of bullies who happened to be white.
The case of the 13-year-old on a sleepover with some really worrying images that have emerged online. What else has happened with this story, Richard?
So there now is an investigation officially into allegations that 13-year-old Samarian Humphrey was bullied and abused at a sleepover which took place in February. The video subsequently leaked, and I think we can see some of that now. I should say this footage is rather harrowing. Now, essentially what the allegations are is that Samarian was potentially with a BB gun, racially abused, beaten, and actually forced to drink urine by the other members of the sleepover who were all white. Now, there's a massive reaction to this, as you would imagine, but one of the reactions, first of all, is people are furious that the authorities in Texas took so long to initially investigate this. And frankly, Amina, a lot of other people are saying, look, this goes way beyond bullying. This is actually physical abuse and, torture. Physical torture as well as mental torture. It's a stark example of anti-black racism. And one other thing people are saying is that if this boy wasn't black, what would the reaction have been? Might there have been more of a public outcry? If, for example, the accused were black and or Muslim and the person who was on the other side being abused was white, what indeed would the reaction be? So a lot of people are saying this goes way beyond bullying. And actually, Mina, one quick point, there's many incidents that have happened recently which people are claiming are also examples of systemic anti-black racism.
TikTok Beef of the Week accountability check. Have you seen this video? Now, in that video, that black child is at a sleepover with some white friends, and they handed him a cup with their urine in it. Not only did they make him drink it, they beat him and called him racial slurs and laughed the whole time. And these little boys have also been bullying him at school, where they beat him with the belt, attack his private parts, and steal his inhaler. And the school refuses to do anything about it. The family is asking for an investigation, but we know these things only work when we put pressure on them.
So since TikTok is trying it with black creators who's trying to bring awareness to what happened to Samarian, I'm going to post this video. These are only some of the things that those little boys did to Samarian, who is a middle school student in Plano, Texas at Haggard Middle School. His mother is seeking help from the community, and we need to raise awareness. So please blow this one up. And you racists, please stop reporting my video. I understand you want to thrive in your racism, but you're not going to do that here. You're not going to do that here. You are not going to be allowed to attack and harm black children and get away with it. No, we are going to keep posting and making sure that Samarian gets his justice. All of those little boys involved need to be in jail. And if they are not, their parents need to be in jail.
And of course, when a story like that captivates a bunch of people online, it goes viral and people are demanding justice. People are demanding accountability. And in all of the smoke and mirrors about that, you will have a story of a mother trying to get people to understand that maybe they are low income and they would love support from the community. This is her son being bullied and they need financial help in order to save his mental and better his life for the future. And somebody who recognizes that bullying is wrong will see that and say, I would like to support you financially. And they had a GoFundMe set up and they did support financially.
There are some updates on what's going on with Samarian Humphrey. He is almost at his $30,000 goal. This money is going to help him pay for the therapy that he needs, and it's also going to pay for him to be able to attend private school. I've been in direct contact with his mother since yesterday, and today she's saying he's doing much better. The chief of police did contact the FBI, and they are now investigating this as a hate crime, but we're just getting started. For those of you who are still unaware of the boys responsible, these are their names. Shout out to this queen for informing everyone. This is one of their moms. This is Asher's dad. And ironically, this is the very last post he posted on Facebook. Read it. Mr. Vaughn, if it is so imperative that we must actually parent and monitor our children, where the hell were you?
To the tune of nearly $120,000. And you would think, all right, happy ending. A child was bullied at a sleepover, but now with money, he could get some therapy, he could get some counseling, he could recognize that mentally he is not the problem, and he could probably go to a better school away from bullies, and it could be the happiest of endings. Cut to print, it's over. That was until last night, where apparently, after litigation, the mother of said child who was bullied has to pay $3.2 million because of the smear campaign she ran on one of the kids that was there that apparently had her son in the midst of almost drinking a couple bottles of piss. And when you factor in that $120,000 that was donated to the boy was not used in full for the boy, it leads me to run back to this concept of people using bodies to make money for themselves. Because what do you mean that out of nearly $120,000, only $1,000 was used for your son? It's your flesh and blood who came to you and said, Mom, I went to the sleepover and I was hit with BB guns and I was almost forced to drink urine. You're supposed to have the correct reaction in demanding some accountability and justice for your son. Because if you read the article, it comes across like, yeah, all of this shit happened and it was blown out of proportion, and the only reason people found out about it is because the boys all had beef with each other 2 weeks later. It comes across like all of it's true, and you should be demanding some layer of accountability here, because who the fuck is going to a sleepover and being forced to drink piss or being hit with a BB gun? You can miss me with that BS about, oh, it's young boys, because I was a young boy at one point and I went to sleepovers, and at no point was I drinking piss, almost being forced to drink piss, or being hit with a BB gun. So I guess some people are weirder than others. But when you factor in all of this, and then you realize that this motherfucker got on a podium and hoped that a community could help her son, and then you realize that a good portion, 99% of that money, was not used to help her son, it makes you just sit back and think, wow, motherfuckers are truly the scum of the earth, dedicated to sitting back and seeing a moment in time and recognizing that it's the perfect chance to enrich themselves. And this smear campaign where she ending up paying all this money, millions of dollars, it's because she was getting people riled up to go find one specific boy and his family, go to his house, and I guess throw shit at the property. That is not a smart thing to do. That is not a proper response to what happens to your child, because it could lead you into a lot of trouble, and it did, to the tune of paying these motherfuckers millions because you couldn't just get all of these people in a room together and start demanding something be done about what happened to your child. Instead, you wanted everybody in the world to see something and make you the ultimate victim to enrich yourself in ways that could benefit only you, while your son's sitting there probably feeling inadequate over the fact that he was almost forced to drink piss and probably felt less about himself throughout this entire ordeal. Then I gotta factor in all these people who campaigned and promoted this story and talked about the GoFundMe and donated to the GoFundMe and how they thought that they were helping this kid. I just feel bad for them, because they see a story and they think there is no other way that I could help. Not positive words, not words of affirmation, none of this. You got to just give your money. And you got to hope when you do that in any of these subject matters, whether they be something of benefit or something completely stupid to fixate that lust that you have in proving your opposition very wrong about how bad their skin color is or how right your skin color is. It's always in this mindset of you hoping that what you're doing somehow nets a positive. And in this case, it didn't. It was just a mom trying to get everybody to care about this story, and on the path of doing that, made a lot of dumb decisions that have come back to bite her in the ass, and it's ultimately her fault. I'm not faulting this kid for having something happen to him that he feels is uncomfortable to the point where he brings it to who he's supposed to bring it to's attention, a parent, and they decide, fuck it, let's make it a show where we could potentially get a motherfucker harmed because fanatical motherfuckers will always take it a step further, and we're gonna try to get some money out of this. And ultimately, at the end of it, it's come down to the saddest possible outcome for any black person in any given circumstance in the 21st century. Paying the white man money. You should be ashamed of yourself just for that. But let it be a lesson that no matter how much a story could truly be over, there will always be the random update that will prove a lot of motherfuckers are just in it for the money, and they are desperate for people to believe their story enough to not question them and just hand over the money. And while the story seemingly is true from the account of the other kids who were there, it's a fucking shame and embarrassment that a mother would value money and property and values more than her own fucking son and the needs that he would need. Subscribe to the channel. I will see you all in the next one. Mwah! Goodbye.